following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Maxfield residents protest JDF killing of Fisher. Residents of the lower section of Maxfield Avenue in St. Andrew are demanding a full investigation into the circumstances under which Errol Caven, also known as Fisher, was shot dead by soldiers on Thursday night. They used debris to block several sections of the roadway yesterday, claiming that Caven was killed because of the long-standing problem of unlit streets in the community. According to the residents, 48-year-old Caven, who earned his living by selling fish, had just left Whitfield Avenue and was heading up Maxfield Avenue sometime after 9 p.m. when he was spotted by soldiers on patrol. Carrying 2 plastic bottles and a length of stick, which he usually brandishes like a rifle, residents theorized that because the street was unlit, the soldiers mistook the intoxicated Caven for a gunman and shot him dead. His brother Maurice and other residents said Caven was well known and loved throughout Maxfield Avenue and was a peaceful man. Without giving details, the police corporate communications unit said Caven was shot during a confrontation with a member of the Jamaica Defense Force. It said the matter has been reported to the Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau as well as the Independent Commission of Investigation. We need resources like infrastructure, water and light, and we need it as soon as possible. Through the lack of electricity, the soldier them couldn't make out the man in the darkness. Them think him have gun and fire upon him, one man told the Gleaner. He said that the problems faced by lack of infrastructure went beyond safety concerns. Them come in with the online classes, how the youth them are going to learn when there's no electricity and no internet, he asked. We using the death of Fisher to bring attention to the fact that we need basic resources such as light and water. Because if the street did light up, the soldier them would have get for see him and say he was harmless, the resident added. The new academic year will officially get underway next Monday, with classes to be held virtually in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. 1-year-old shot and father killed by unknown assailants. A father cradling his 1-year-old daughter in his arms was not enough to stop marauding thugs from spraying him with bullets in what police investigators believe was another reprisal attack out on the streets of the East Kingston community of Harborview. When the gunfire ended, the young father, still clad in his work uniform, was dead, while his infant daughter was battling for life in hospital, according to police sources. The shooting happened a stone throws from the Harborview mini stadium shortly after 6 p.m. and up to news time their names had not been released. Him them come for, one investigator theorized. Investigators believe the killing was a reprisal for an incident almost 2 weeks ago in which gunmen invaded a party meters from last night's incident and opened fire at patrons, leaving 2 dead and 6 injured. Residents and police sources indicated that the young father never stood a chance against his killers, who waited for him several minutes inside a car that was parked along Riverside Drive. Him just come from work and have the baby in him hand, and as soon as them see him, about 2 of them come out with guns and start shooting, said one resident who requested anonymity. That double murder was also a reprisal attack, police sources said. Harborview falls within the Kingston East Police Division, which has seen a 17% spike in murders this year. According to the last figures published by the police, the Kingston East Police have recorded 74 murders, compared to 63 for the corresponding period last year. Between January 1st and last Sunday, 1,273 people have been murdered across Jamaica, a 2.9% increase when compared with the 1,237 homicides that were recorded over a similar period last year. In regional news, Mother of two beheaded by ex-lover. 24-year-old Reshma Kanchan, a URP worker employed at a primary school, died after her ex-lover ambushed her and chopped her multiple times, almost severing her neck on Tuesday, September 29th. The alleged perpetrator, who works as an electrician, then attempted to slit his throat. He was arrested while smoking a cigarette while bleeding severely from his self-inflicted wounds. He remains in police custody and will be charged with murder, following which he will appear in court. Kanchan lived at Laltu Trace with her two daughters, aged 5 and 2, as well as her mother-in-law. A month before her death, Kanchan wrote a Facebook post explaining that most times when women leave an abusive relationship, they do so to find themselves. Her relatives said she had been physically abused since she had been married 5 years ago. Several reports were lodged at the penal police station, according to her mother Davika, but this was disputed by senior officers there. Kanchan was the 10th woman to have been killed this year following domestic disputes. Because of the stress of COVID-19, incidents of domestic violence have been on the increase, the TTPS has said. In January this year, Police Commissioner Gary Griffith established a gender-based violence unit with a specialized team to deal with cases of domestic violence. There are 10 stations with GBVU officers, but Penal is not one of them. Earlier this week, Womantra Director Stephanie Leash said police are mandated to respond to all distress calls, whether or not they belong to the GBV. Father murders and chops up daughter for coming home drunk. A kebab shop worker has been jailed today for chopping up his belly dancer daughter with a doner meat knife after he killed her for coming home drunk. Hassan Uslu strangled his 32-year-old daughter Didem Uslu to death in Kisan, northwest Turkey. He claimed that it was his daughter's fault as she had arrived home drunk late at night and insulted her mother before arguing with him when he told her to be respectful. He said he had lost his temper when she argued back and killed her. The defendant attended the hearing via video link, while his wife Sati, accused of failing to report the crime, did not attend. Uslu, who maintained his innocence, asked to be released due fears he would be vulnerable to COVID-19 because of his age and underlying medical conditions. However, the court found Uslu guilty of deliberately killing his daughter, and he was sentenced to 24 years behind bars. Sati Uslu was reportedly acquitted after initially being charged with failing to report the crime. She said she had felt unwell after her daughter's attack and had gone to her room where she passed out. In January last year, a passerby found a dismembered arm wrapped in newspaper and informed the local authorities. Cops carried out a fingerprint test on the limb and concluded that it belonged to Didem Uslu. Following an investigation, it was determined that Uslu had killed his daughter before dismembering her body and freezing it. He then tried to dispose of it in a nearby forest, piece by piece.